Positive Spin, presenting positive, innovative, and solution-oriented news from around the world. On today's program, we'll see UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres visit refugees in New York on World Refugee Day. And we'll hear the UN's Global Trends Report on the world's refugees, verifying there are more than 100 million people displaced worldwide. Then we'll learn how a refugee-led business is providing clean energy to people in a refugee camp. And we'll experience refugees working together to grow their own food. After that, we'll hear a personal message of peace from a 14-year-old girl. And we'll learn about an artist's goal to bring art to the children of his family's hometown in Ukraine. Finally, we hear the water song performed by indigenous women.
I just want to tell you that how much it means to me that you've made time. You are so active about advocating for the rights of refugees and wanting to really create a welcoming space, especially for World Refugee Day.
People react negatively in abstract, but when they see concrete human situations, that makes them change. That's why it's so important to have a testimony, and especially of a refugee that succeeds in society.
In March of 2010, 5 lives were changed. That was my family. Even if you take few families, thousands, that's lives are being saved. And when I say saved, it's genuinely huge impact.
We need more resettlement place, we need more resettlement help. We actually need help in different ways, like basic needs, housing, everything that is necessary for refugees.
So my appeal to developed countries is you need to meaningfully increase the number of resettlement opportunities in your country, because it is so different to allow them to fully integrate in your societies or to keep them barely surviving in some of the most dramatically dangerous places in the world.
Let's talk about 100 million people. You have probably heard about the war in Ukraine.
We're standing here directly at the border between Ukraine and Moldova.
Conflict in Yemen, attacks in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Crisis in Syria, Afghanistan, and Ethiopia.
Many Afghans are extremely anxious about what the future holds.
You may have also heard about violence, persecution, and insecurity in other parts of the world, like South Sudan, Myanmar, and Africa's Sahel region. The lack of peace and security in these and other countries around the world has forced a staggering 100 million people to flee their homes and take dangerous journeys in search of safety. But have you also heard about all the communities that welcome them? Refugees and displaced people who found new opportunities, who have rebuilt their lives and are even helping others? What about refugees who felt safe enough to go home? My name is Rayan, and I work for UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency. I want to talk to you about forcibly displaced people around the world. But first, 100 million. How did we get here? This is Global Trends. By the end of 2021, before the war in Ukraine, there were already 89 million forcibly displaced people globally. This is twice as many as a decade ago. Many of the crises today have been going on for years, and most people fleeing across borders come from just a few countries like Syria, Venezuela, Afghanistan, South Sudan, and Myanmar. This year, the war in Ukraine has added drastically to these numbers. Since February, over 4.5 million people have fled the country. So where do refugees find safety? Countries around the world open their borders so people forced to flee can seek asylum. Countries like Turkey, Colombia, Uganda, Pakistan, Germany, and Bangladesh host the largest number of refugees globally. This year, there has been an outpouring of generosity for refugees from Ukraine, who have found safety in neighboring countries across Europe and beyond. But people forced to flee do not always cross borders. These are internally displaced people, or in short, IDPs. By the end of 2021, 53 million people around the world had been displaced by conflict in their own countries. Some of the largest IDP populations are in Syria, Colombia, DRC, Yemen, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, and Burkina Faso. This year, in just 4 months, 7 million people were displaced by war inside Ukraine. People like Milana.
Для кого это? Для кого это ты нарисовала?
Два папы. Но мы за ними скучаем.
In Afghanistan, a humanitarian crisis is affecting the whole country, including internally displaced families. They face enormous challenges, including economic collapse and widespread hunger. The winter season was especially difficult. In Ethiopia, conflict in the north displaced millions of people internally. Mebret, a social worker who was also displaced, decided to help others.
They need this food, they need this shelter, they need this clothes. My work is to protect people.
Even as the number of displaced people continues to rise around the world, solidarity and the commitment to find solutions is growing. And refugees, displaced and stateless people, despite everything, remain hopeful.
Cuando uno tiene deseos, ganas, voluntad, optimismo, creo que no hay obstáculo que pueda pararlo.
In 2021, hope turned into action. People around the world rallied together to support refugee athletes at the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics, proving just how transformative sport and inclusion is for displaced communities.
A lot of the refugees, they get undermined and feel ashamed, you know. You don't have to feel that shame.
Refugees and displaced people also took action in fighting the effects of climate change. They increasingly find themselves on the front lines of this growing global emergency.
গত বছর দাসে 4 বার পানি উঠিল ফ্ল্যাশ ফ্লাড হইল এবছর দাসে 3-4 বার কি ফ্ল্যাশ ফ্লাড হই আর আজ দূর ফারি দূর তো আরা কি করি চেষ্টা করে আর কমিউনিটিরে বাঁচাই বলে চেষ্টা করি
For those forcibly displaced, the most fulfilling action can be going home. In 2021, about 5.7 million people voluntarily returned to rebuild their lives and their communities. One sign that peace is a powerful solution. Behind all these numbers are stories of people who have lost so much, but also of resilience and compassion. 100 million is not just a number. It is families, friends, and loved ones. It is a devastating milestone. But it is not a refugee crisis. It's a political crisis. It's a failure of humanity to prioritize peace and stability. But it is also a challenge to everyone. What can you do to help people forced to flee? Find out how you can volunteer to help displaced people near you. Donate. Help raise funds for displaced people around the world. Subscribe to our channel to stay informed. Encourage your leaders to do more for displaced people and boost support for the countries and communities that host them. And most of all, advocate for more lasting solutions to displacement and make peace a priority.
decided to go in green energy first. When I came here, we are really struggling to get light.
Imekuja hata tumenunua frigo, tukaweka na vinywaji, tumeweka soda, maji, hata juisi za embe tunasaga tunaweka humo ndani. Tunashukuru sana kwa vile hii moto inatusaidia sana.
I've seen that we are still having more potential people who are still coming to ask for connection. But for the power that we have, the 20 kilowatts that we have, we cannot connect everyone in Kakuma.
Kijihe kanbe savo nane asikre aguya du chipakoto boro wa kazani da kijihe kanbe kuro wilda wa nani.
L'appui, l'expertise de la FAO en matière d'agriculture a bien ficelé, savoir quelle semence il faut, quel outil il faut pour cette région, pour ces bulletins de qui sont donnés.
Gupang bahasin sionga minamba kada cepa shufu mefugude uduna wene potoro na ka ukuduna na humeturu ni wene he kala ka wene ngai umbatayo.
Ani zami zakaje gutungane kini zakasopa ha no go bete gu undo ashera for front.
Wow, for peace is not only seen but shared because it's one extraordinary thing that brings the world together and forever. Peace, 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 peace. For peace is so beautiful, so powerful that ends every war, anger, tribulations among all nations of all generations. Peace, 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 peace. For peace, it's all my country aims for the destruction and killing was all in our past, but we still pray and wish for peace, 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 peace. You and I are the light of peace. What else can I ask for because many died for peace? Peace, peace, peace. Peace is my sound, peace is my voice, peace is my only choice. Let's all be capable and ambassador of tomorrow for peace. It's free and patient, indeed like a child in need of a mother.
Greater Palm Springs area is known for its beautiful landscapes, mountains, and weather. However, this picturesque area is also a place of creativity and inspiration for artists. Positive Spin recently visited the annual Open Studios Weekend Artist Showcase, where we interviewed artist Tom Ross Rosenberg at his studio.
My name is Tom Ross Rosenberg. So I am working on a project which I hope comes to fruition this summer. My father's hometown is Lviv, which is now part of the Ukraine, the one that's on the most western side, and it's the site where there's the most displaced and traumatized children right now. So my intention is to go there with a group of artists, work with the kids, and bring back their art and do an art installation using my technique. Did a whole series, I've done about 30 of them so far, and they're kind of, to me, are like little universes, and I want people just to, take it in as the whole, but also take in the segments, because each segment could sort of be a painting in and of itself. Okay, these pieces over here that are brand new pieces, and if you look at them, they look very dimensional, like there's maybe 3 or 4 layers to them. But it's reverse painting, and it's only painted on the back side with 1 layer. If you come here, you can just see it's a single layer. And it has this kinetic effect. It's something that I've sort of developed over the years, but if you walk past it, it looks like elements are moving. And the reason why this partly has this kinetic effect is I mount it with these long, they're called standoffs, but they have it where it's far off from the wall, so the wall and the shadows become another layer. And this one too is, these are my circular pieces, I call my marbles. And I did a whole series. I'm going to explain why pieces are important to me. I'm the actually son of a Holocaust survivor. My father left Eastern Europe in about 1940 and lost a lot of his family there, and came to America and ended up having 7 kids. And I can remember from being very young that he got involved in peace marches, and peace was very important to him. It's long past that he has passed away, but I feel like I'm carrying on the torch.
Granddaughter, the water can hear you. The water has memory.
Nibi,
Nibi,
Wabo,
Wabo,
Endayan,
Endayan.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misli, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Oh.
Water is the life's blood of our mother, the earth. Water is the lifeblood of our own body.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misli, Nibi, Wabo,
continue to pass on the knowledge that needs to be given unto the other generations. You are the keeper of the water.
Nibi wabo endayen aki miswi. Nibi wabo heya 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 hey heya 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 ho.
To make the change in this life condition that we're in, that great-grandchildren will stand up to this truth of what life is about and to live it in such an honorable way, the way ancestors came to this earth.
Nibi wabo endayen aki miswi. Nibi wabo heya 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 hey heya 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 ho.
Each day when the sun rises, no matter how bad the day before might have been, there's a new chance for your hopes and dreams. And I say, Chimiigwech, thank you for singing the water song.
Nibi wabo endayen aki miswi. Nibi wabo heya 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 hey heya 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 ho.
My name is Grace Garner. I'm the mayor of Palm Springs. Peace is a difficult topic. For our entire existence in this world, we haven't had peace. But I think that now more than ever, it's achievable. We have an opportunity to truly connect with each other. Technology allows us to speak with people all over the world. And I think that's an opportunity for us to really figure out how we can all come together to work towards a more peaceful world and community. At the end of the day, we are all more similar than we are different. And there's no reason for us to cause strife simply because of those minor differences. We have to focus on what it is that brings us together and how we are united as one human race.
I think peace is the most important thing on the planet. If we don't have it, we're in bedlam. So as human beings, we're all here together. A peaceful world is the best world imaginable.
Because the flag still stands for freedom. And it can't take that away.
Well, peace means respecting other people's rights. There was the famous Mexican president, Benito Juarez, who said, el respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. Respecting other people's rights is peace. That's number one. Peace means a world without violence. Peace means a world that we not only care for each other, but that we also care for our Earth, for Mother Earth, for our planet.
I'm standing up for Ukraine. To all the world leaders, we need you now, more than ever before, to answer the call from everyone, activists, advocates, and volunteers who are working to support refugees from Ukraine and around the world. Tomorrow, you'll meet to decide how much support you'll be able to give to these people who have been forced to leave their homes, their country, their loved ones. Please, stand up for these refugees everywhere and give every bit of financial support that you can.
Thank you for watching Positive Spin. This show is made possible through the generosity of the Patty and Jack Wright Foundation and the Prem Rawat Foundation. Watch and subscribe to our previous episodes on YouTube, and please like us on Facebook. Follow us on Free Speech TV, Roku, Sling, DirecTV, Dish Network, and Apple TV. I'm Bill McCarthy. Stay safe and healthy, and remember, you can create your own positive news.